Con gli anni 50 nasce anche il campionato mondiale di Formula 1. Inaugura l'Albo d'Oro l'italiano Nino Farina.
Gliela cederà Serafini come farà Taruffi con Fangio. Al via per gli 80 giri Farina balza subito in testa, seguito da Fangio e Fagioli. Ascari, partito in leggero ritardo, sarà ben presto alle spalle di Farina e per 2 giri passerà anche al comando. Ormai Farina ha corsa vinta. Fangio, bastata la propria macchina, farà soltanto 11 giri con questa, la 54. Un altro quarto lo costringerà al ritiro. E Ascari soffierà il secondo posto a Fagioli, confermandosi pilota di grandi qualità. Finale trionfale di Farina. Al traguardo con la vittoria nel Gran Premio di...
Startet zum großen Preis der Schweiz in Bern. Fangio auf dem neuen Alfa Romeo hält die Spitze, hart gefolgt von Farina. Fangio gewinnt Abstand, gerade gibt ihm Stirling Moss das Zeichen zum Überholen. Fangio geht als Sieger durchs Ziel. Nach 50 Sekunden folgt Taruffi. Trotz schwierigster Bedingungen trübt kein schwerer Unfall die Begeisterung über Fangios Sieg.
It's the start of the 1952 German Grand Prix. There are plenty of good drivers in the battle and everyone's got a chance. Front, it's a duel between Farina, number 102, and Ascari, number 101, both in Ferraris. Ascari's won the race in the last 2 years, and once more he's first across the line to give him the Grand Prix hat-trick at record speed.
Fangio makes a wonderful start, but Ascari gets past with Hawthorne and Marimore behind. But now, Fangio has had to change cars with Bonetto and has dropped 6 places to Ascari. And the 4 Ferraris lead the field. And there, another Swiss Grand Prix is won. Ascari still looks remarkably fresh after his victory. A victory which was to confirm him champion of the world a second time.
Fangio al volante della Mercedes, González alla guida della Ferrari. Fangio, il 18, è passato subito al comando della corsa. Per lui la vittoria significa praticamente la riconquista del titolo di campione del mondo. Spettacoloso duello in famiglia, 19 contro 18. Simultaneamente ai box per noia al motore. Ormai sicuro della vittoria, Fangio rallenta nel finale. Ha vinto il 14° Gran Premio d'Europa.
Fangio makes the best getaway and Moss makes a great start from row 3 to be in 4th place behind Fangio, Ascari and González. After a remarkable 3-hour drive, Fangio wins the Argentine Grand Prix for Mercedes. The only other driver to complete the distance unaided is Roberto Mire. The world champion receives an ecstatic welcome from his fans and his 1955 season has got off to the best possible start.
Der große Preis von Italien auf der neuen Monza-Bahn. Eine Kombination von Straße und Autodrom. Wieder wird Fangio Sieger und damit zum 2. Mal Weltmeister für Rennwagen auf Mercedes-Benz. Ein Bravo auf dem 2. Taruffi.
It's the last of the year to count towards the World Racing Championship. Juan Fangio of Argentina holds the title, and he's a good chance of retaining it. There's only one man who can still take it from him, his Ferrari teammate, Peter Collins. Suddenly a bombshell for the watching fans. Fangio's steering has broken down. But Peter Collins, lying third, makes a sacrifice which will go down in racing history. He hands over his own car to Fangio to give him a chance of retaining the world title. So Fangio streaks after the leaders. He can't catch Moss, but to remain champion, all he needs is a place. Moss wins the race, a splendid victory to crown a brilliant year's driving.
It's the 1957 German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring, the world's greatest circuit. Fangio's challenging for second, and he takes Peter Collins. Fangio's up into second position, right behind Mike Hawthorne. And there's still a full lap to go at the end of this one. Fangio. And now Fangio's going to challenge Mike Hawthorne for the lead. And he leads. Juan Manuel Fangio is in the lead on the last lap of the German Grand Prix. Fangio takes the checkered flag to win the German Grand Prix.
Off they go, all the great names, the men and the cars. Mike Hawthorne, Ferrari, number 4, takes an early lead. Sterling Moss in a Van Wall, number 8, the strongest all-British challenge. This was the race in which Musso, the Italian ace, was to lose his life. Moss leads for the World Championship, but he can't hold Hawthorne. Hawthorne and Moss in that order. So Hawthorne's now level on points for that world title.
Right from the start is the Australian Brabham, number 12, who streaks to the front. And now they're flashing Brabham bad news about his tyres. Brabham ignores his pit and fights to stay ahead on worn-out tyres, with Moss gaining on him every time round. The flag as he streaks across the finish. And here's Moss, not the luckiest, seconds behind. And first to reach the winner is a young man with a big dream, maybe, of coming in first himself one day.
Thrills at the French Grand Prix start the moment the flag drops. Hill's BRM in the front row fails to start. Plantignon's Cooper rams it. Halford's Cooper goes into us. Brabham's Cooper and Phil Hill's Ferrari battle desperately to get a nose in front of each other. But in the end, it's Jack Brabham who gets the upper hand, streaking ahead for his 3rd consecutive Grand Prix victory. And for Jack, one more step towards retaining the world crown.
At the Italian Grand Prix in Monza, the penultimate race of the year, Von Trips is only 4 points ahead of his Ferrari teammate Phil Hill in the title chase. With so little separating the pair, a win for either driver today will prove crucial.
During the race occurred one of the worst accidents of recent years. Unknown to Phil Hill and some of the others, Von Trips had been killed when his car was in collision with Jim Clark's Lotus. 14 spectators were killed too.
The race continues nonetheless, and Phil Hill goes on to take the flag and the title. Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. 7 points clear of the Scot before the race, Hill goes for broke right from the start.
Surprise of the motor racing season is the sensational advance of Graham Hill. Driving a BRM, he was in the lead early in this race. His teammate, the American Richie Ginther, lay second. Graham Hill led all the way. Hardly challenged, Hill won easily.
Only 2 more races separate the Englishman from glory.
Clark had made a poor start, but he worked his way through to the lead by lap 4. By lap 12, he held a 6-second lead over Brabham and Gurney. Hill and Surtees were 4th and 5th. Clark won by 25 seconds from John Surtees, who snatched 2nd place on the last lap when Graham Hill's BRM spluttered as it ran out of fuel.
The German Grand Prix takes in 212 miles, 15 laps of this testing circuit. Going in great style is the Ferrari, number 7, John Surtees. Surtees drives a flawless race and wins in record time, 2 hours, 12 minutes. Little doubt he'll one day be world champion. Out of the French Grand Prix, former world champion Jim Clark leapt into the lead. That's Clark's Lotus going like a bomb. Reigning champ John Surtees, number 2, Ferrari. It was number 6, Jim Clark, all the way. Nobody could possibly catch him now. Victory for Clark at 89.2 miles per hour, the fastest ever average over this switchback circuit. The Flying Scot now has a commanding lead in the current World Championship. The Pau Grand Prix. The round the houses circuit is tricky, including the outskirts of the town. Driving a Brabham Honda, number 8, Jack Brabham himself. Number 12, the formidable Graham Hill. On Brabham's tail, Dennis Hume of New Zealand. Graham Hill in a Brabham BRM. Brabham won, beating the circuit record by 5 miles an hour at an average of 67.7.
Nürburgring. 25 started in the German Grand Prix, 15 laps of the famous 14-mile switchback circuit. The race counted for the World Driving Championship. Jim Clark led in the early stages, though he was destined to drop out through broken suspension. Denny Hulme took the lead when Clark and Dan Gurney retired. Nobody could catch Hulme's Repco Brabham, not even Jack Brabham himself. So the winner by a good margin was this man from New Zealand, Dennis Hulme. Teammate Jack Brabham came second. By 12 points, commandingly topping the championship table, Dennis Hulme.
Pero el gran duelo se estableció entre el inglés Graham Hill y el escocés Jackie Stewart. Una vieja rivalidad histórica de la carrera. Ahí fue donde Graham Hill afirmó su victoria. El inglés impuso nuevo récord de la prueba, promedio de velocidad de 167 kilómetros por hora. Sensacional triunfo de Graham Hill.
Stewart took his 5th win in 6 races, and nobody could now deny him his first World Championship, with the season only half run.
And a great start from the outside by Jackie X, but Brabham, I think, has him. Jochen Rindt getting boxed out a bit by Brabham. Lap of the British Grand Prix at Brands Hatch in the lead. Jack Brabham, number 17, in the Brabham Ford. And he slowed right up. It couldn't happen again. Brabham's hit trouble right at the last minute. Could it be a tyre? Something there. That car seemed to sort of lurch and bump. Now, can Rindt catch him? Rindt was only about 12 seconds behind. This is fantastic. This is Monaco all over again. And there's Rindt. Would you believe it possible? There's Rindt. It's happened to Brabham again for the second time this year, and with Rindt. What an extraordinary thing. Unbelievable. Rindt wins the race from Brabham on the last corner, exactly as he did at Monte Carlo.
And Stewart, all alone, passed the finish in just over 1 hour and 31 minutes. A truly convincing demonstration by a champion in top form.
Rolling start, and the cars are away on this 312-mile marathon. Fittipaldi moves straight into the lead, his Grand Prix car loaded with 50 gallons of fuel to save the need for a pit stop. With an average speed of 109 miles per hour, Fittipaldi takes the checkered flag, his 4th successive win in Britain this year. He's well on the road to his first World Championship crown.
Jackie Stewart mit dem Tyrrell Ford 006. Und der Schotte wird jetzt gefeiert. Aber mindestens ebenso viel Applaus erhält der Zweite in diesem Rennen. Erhält Emerson Fittipaldi, der Brasilianer, der in den letzten Runden hier Meter für Meter, Sekunde für Sekunde gut gemacht hat und immer näher an den Weltmeister von 1971 herankam.
At the front, it was the 25th Grand Prix victory for Jackie Stewart, who joins Jim Clark in history, and Emerson Fittipaldi at the top of the World Championship table. 3 Grand Prix victories each. Fittipaldi took pole in front of Reutemann, who's obviously on form at the beginning of the season and is eager for revenge. He takes the lead from the start. For the 4th lap, Peterson goes into the lead. Reutemann's tyres are suffering in the heat. Peterson has got to keep his eyes on Fittipaldi, who gives him no let-up. During the 16th lap, Fittipaldi overtakes Peterson. The Swede, who carries the number 1, stops in the pits and restarts in 9th place. He then has to do battle with Jody Scheckter. The Tyrrells are still struggling. Watch out for that change in grip. It started to rain, enough to mean that the race is definitely interrupted after only 32 of the 40 planned laps. Not that that changes much. Fittipaldi takes his 10th victory, the first of the 74 season, and his first for McLaren.
Niki Lauda, duello per la seconda posizione, lascia aperto un varco e passa Emerson Fittipaldi. Ricordo che molti tifosi, tra cui me stesso, ero bambino, avevo 8 anni all'epoca, avrebbero sperato di una resistenza maggiore di Niki Lauda nei confronti di Emerson Fittipaldi. Era il vecchio campione del mondo, Fittipaldi contro il nuovo campione del mondo, Niki Lauda, ultimo.
And they're off. Clouds are straight. James Hunt is edging into the lead. Watson twitching, but it's James Hunt in the lead. Watson second and Andretti third. Hunt is in the pits. Look at that left front tyre, right front tyre, sorry. No tread on it at all. And the other one is flat. Is Hunt still in the championship hunt? That charts are getting confused here. Mario Andretti. And Mario Andretti takes the flag. Mario Andretti has won the first Japanese Grand Prix. And Piquet trying to get by him, but he's a lap behind. And there's James Hunt. James Hunt finishing third and almost catching Patrick Piquet. And James Hunt is the world champion. James Hunt is the new world champion. Mario Andretti is the winner of the race.
Well, immediately after the start, Lauda starts pushing very hard behind Hunt's McLaren, followed by Scheckter and De Peye, who are waiting for their chance. The race is marked by a terrible accident. Renzo Zorzi's Shadow is at a standstill on the track, its engine smoking. 2 officials rush towards it, crossing the track from the other side, and tragedy strikes. The 5th of March 1977 saw one of the most appalling accidents in the history of Formula One. Lauda won the race despite everything and described it as one of his greatest victories.
Este año, el vencedor ha sido Mario Andretti con Lotus, seguido de su compañero de equipo Ronnie Peterson. Con esta victoria, Andretti se sitúa en la cabeza de la clasificación para el campeonato mundial.
Well, Mario, unless we get a last-minute drama, Jody Scheckter is world champion for 1979.
It's the corner and the straight that is going to make Jody Scheckter world champion of 1979 as he wins the Italian Grand Prix. Villeneuve second, and in third place in the Saudia Williams, Clay Regazzoni. A wonderful race. There is the 1979 world champion Jody Scheckter, and up into second place in the world championship goes Gilles Villeneuve.
As Alan Jones having a go at Piquet now.
Alan Jones in third position, Piquet in second, Villeneuve behind them in fourth position, and Jones right now with Piquet, and Villeneuve just behind Alan Jones. Terrific stuff for second place. Young Nelson Piquet, in only his second full season of Grand Prix racing, is going to be taken, or is he, by Alan Jones.
See how they're tiptoeing through the slippery bit. Jones gets the power down better. Now Jones got out of the slippery bit there, and he just slipped past him with better traction and of taking a better line, getting onto the grippy bit better than Piquet did, who under pressure went a little bit wide.
Piquet faz uma corrida tranquila e lidera praticamente de ponta a ponta, perdendo a liderança apenas na largada. Além de marcar a pole position no fim de semana, ele também cravou a volta mais rápida da prova. Ele vence a sua primeira corrida na temporada e a quarta na Fórmula 1.
Taking the last corner on the last lap is the world champion of 1982, Keke Rosberg. He knows it. Of course he knows it. He's had his pit signals. You wouldn't think there was a winner in this race to look at that picture. Don't forget.
Aguardando, vem Piquet, com cuidado, com carinho, para receber a bandeirada. Aí, Nelson Piquet!
Brasil!
de Fórmula 1.
From flag to flag, he drove his way through the field past Teo Fabi at the time when Lauda was in third position, took second, then set about Piquet and got ahead of him, and he has stayed ahead all the time, including his pit stop. He is through the S's for the last time. He is up to Leo Top for the last time. He will come up to the straight, approaching the King for the last time, and now he is up to about 155 miles an hour ahead of Derek Warwick, looking in his mirrors. And the great Austrian Niki Lauda wins the South African Grand Prix in superb style, his 20th Grand Prix win, and that gives him 9 points.